Have you ever met someone who didn't just walk into your life, but walked straight into your soul? Someone who felt like both home and heartbreak, comfort and chaos, peace and fire, all in one breath, as if the universe carved a moment in eternity just to bring you two together. Not to stay, but to shatter you awake. They didn't just love you. They activated you. They stirred memories you didn't know you carried, lifetimes, emotions, sensations that had no name. And even when they left, something in you stayed, changed forever. You smiled differently. You moved differently. You carried a quiet storm within you. Because what they left behind wasn't emptiness, it was awakening. This is not a love story. It's a soul story. It's not about happily ever after. It's about the moment that changed you forever, the one you couldn't keep, but had to meet. The one the universe sent not to comfort you, but to grow you. Not for safety, but for transformation. Because some people don't come to love you gently. They come to break the illusions you built around your heart, to show you the version of yourself you forgot existed. So take a deep breath, because what you're about to hear isn't just a story. It's a reflection, a release, maybe even the closure your soul has been begging for. Chapter 1. The cruel gift of a deep connection. Have you ever met someone whose presence felt like divine interference? They didn't arrive quietly, they arrived like lightning. Sudden, electric, unmistakable. As if the universe reached inside your chest, pulled out your forgotten pieces and placed them right there in their eyes. But here's the harsh truth. Not everyone who touches your soul is meant to stay. Sometimes they're meant to wake you up, because before they came along you were asleep. Going through the motions, smiling while hiding confusion, existing inside a routine that numbed your calling. You thought you knew yourself, and then they arrived, and suddenly nothing made sense anymore. They stirred your silence. They triggered old wounds. They resurrected dreams you buried just to survive. They cracked open parts of your heart you didn't even know were still alive. And the most painful part? You felt seen, truly deeply seen, maybe for the first time in your life. But it didn't last. It wasn't meant to, because this was never about love. It was about awakening. It was never about forever. It was about remembrance. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will rule your life and you will call it fate." That person wasn't fate. They were your mirror, your soul's messenger, a cosmic alarm clock ringing through the chaos of your comfort zone. They didn't come to complete you. They came to crack you open, to force you to look at your shadow, your patterns, your pain, your truth. And yes, it hurts. It hurts to feel something that powerful only to watch it vanish like morning mist, but this wasn't loss. This was an assignment, a divine setup, a brutal blessing disguised as heartbreak. You didn't meet them by chance. You met them because your soul was ready, ready to remember, ready to heal, ready to evolve. So no, it wasn't a mistake. It was a cruel gift, wrapped in connection, designed to push you beyond what was safe. Because growth never happens in comfort. Depth never blooms in ease. And now, it's your turn to rise. Chapter 2. Soul Chemistry. Why it feels so real. Why does it hit so deep? Why does it feel ancient, like they touched not just your heart, but something older, sacred, eternal? The truth is, when two souls collide like that, it's never just about romance. It's not about flowers, dates, or promises. It's spiritual surgery, a divine disruption, a cosmic collision created for one reason: your evolution. Carl Jung said, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed." When that person entered your life, something reacted. Something ancient inside you shifted, not just emotions, but your inner wiring, your spiritual DNA. It wasn't love at first sight, it was recognition at first soul glance. As if you didn't meet them, you remembered them. Their voice lingered even in silence, Their energy followed you like an echo. It wasn't logical. It was alchemical, because this was never about building a life together. It was about awakening the life within you. The parts buried under trauma, silence, and survival. They didn't come to hold your hand in calm waters. They came to throw you into the storm so you'd remember you were born to fleet. That storm wasn't meant to destroy you. It was meant to burn away the version of you living someone else's story. You see, this is alchemy, not the sweet, gentle kind, but the sacred, soul-stretching kind. They came to shatter the illusions of control, of perfection, of what you thought love should be. They came to break the mirror you'd been using so you could finally see yourself through their eyes. And that's why it felt so real. Not because it was meant to last, but because it was meant to change you. You weren't supposed to stay the same after meeting them. You were supposed to shed, to evolve, to feel so deeply that you'd never again accept a shallow life. So if you're still haunted by their memory, if they live inside you like a ghost, remember they weren't a person. They were a portal, a doorway to your higher self, to your deepest wounds, to the truth of who you've always been, and that kind of connection doesn't fade. Because it didn't come to stay, it came to transform. Chapter 3, Synchronicity or Punishment. Why would the universe show you something so beautiful, only to take it away? Have you ever screamed that question into the silence of your heartbreak? Looked at the sky through tears and whispered, "Why make me feel something this real only to rip it away?" You're not alone. That question echoes through every soul that's ever loved deeply and lost loudly. But here's what no one tells you. It wasn't punishment. It was preparation. It wasn't betrayal. It was invitation. Because that connection wasn't meant to bring you comfort. It was meant to bring you clarity. It was designed to break the illusion that you were awake when you were still fast asleep. Carl Jung called it synchronicity, not coincidence, not randomness, but a meaningful alignment of souls. He said these moments pierce through the noise of life to remind you are guided, even through chaos. That person didn't stumble into your world by accident. They were placed there like a key to a locked door inside you. A collision of timelines. A cosmic echo whispering, "It's time to wake up." Wake up to what? To your patterns, your stories, your wounds. They weren't here to complete you. They came to confront you, to pull your shadow into the light where it could no longer hide. Synchronicity isn't soft, it's surgical. It knows exactly where to cut, exactly what to reveal, exactly how to break you open just enough for the light to enter. Yes, the universe took them away. But not to punish you, to protect the purpose of the meeting. If they had stayed, you'd focus on them. But by leaving, they forced you to focus on you. Because this wasn't about blame, it was about becoming. That connection wasn't your destination. It was your activation. The spark that ignited your awakening. The pain that made you pay attention. So next time you ask, why did I meet someone I couldn't keep? Remember this. The universe doesn't send people to fulfill your fantasy. It sends them to fulfill your growth. This wasn't a punishment, it was a divine whisper. A synchronicity with one message. The old you must die so the real you can be born. Chapter 4. The Mirror Effect. Why they broke you open. You thought they were the one. The final chapter. The reward at the end of a long wait. The one who would stay, love you, and fix what was broken inside. But they weren't your destination. They were your mirror. And mirrors don't comfort you. They confront you. They don't whisper what you want to hear. They reflect what you've been refusing to see. They came into your life not to heal you, but to reveal you. To hold up a reflection so raw, so unfiltered that you could finally see the truth behind your patterns. They exposed everything you'd been hiding behind love. Your need to be chosen, your fear of abandonment, your unhealed childhood wounds disguised as adult relationships, your tendency to shrink, to please, to give too much just to be loved back. They didn't break you. They showed you where you were already breaking, where you'd been silently bleeding for years. They simply pulled back the curtain on your pain, and that's why it hurt so deeply. Because for the first time you were awake. You thought the ending meant you failed, that their leaving meant you weren't enough. But what if the ending was actually the beginning? What if heartbreak was the doorway you never would have walked through on your own? Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will continue to rule your life, and you will call it fate." Pain brings awareness. Awareness brings power. And sometimes the only way the universe can wake you up is by sending someone to press so hard on your wounds that you have to look at them. You weren't broken because it ended. You were reborn because it did. That person wasn't yours to keep. They were your soul's alarm clock, a divine catalyst wrapped in human skin, a sacred disturbance sent to pull your healing to the surface. Yes, it was messy. Yes, it hurt. But healing always begins in chaos. Before transformation comes the tearing. Before peace, the earthquake. Before the light, there's always the mirror. They didn't come to break your heart. They came to break your pattern. The pain wasn't punishment. It was the portal to freedom, to truth, to the version of you who doesn't beg to be seen anymore because they finally see themselves. So when you ask, why did they hurt me so deeply? Remember, they didn't hurt you. They exposed the part that was already hurting. And in that exposure, your real healing began. This wasn't the end of your story. It was the moment your true story began. Chapter 5. Love that was never meant to stay. We live in a world obsessed with permanence. A world that teaches us if love is real, it must last. That if they left, it was wrong. If it ended, it failed. But what if we've misunderstood love all along? Love isn't always meant to last. Some love stories are not forever stories, they're awakening stories. We've been conditioned to see love as a fairy tale, a place where all wounds vanish and everything finally makes sense, but that's not love. That's the ego's dream. Because sometimes the most real soul-shifting connections aren't meant to stay, they're meant to burn. Some people come into your life like a flame in the dark. They illuminate everything, your hopes, your fears, your shadows, and then just as quickly they disappear, not because they didn't care, but because their role was never to stay, it was to awaken. Not every love builds. Some love breaks, some love destroys illusions, some love burns away everything false so truth can finally grow. Carl Jung once wrote, "The soul doesn't care about your comfort, it cares about your growth." And sometimes growth wears the disguise of heartbreak. You didn't lose love, you lost a version of yourself. The version that begged to be chosen. The version that thought love had to look a certain way to be real. The version still living in fear. Yes, they're leaving hurt. It cracked something open, but maybe that crack was the doorway, a doorway to a deeper truth, a quieter strength, a version of you that doesn't chase love anymore, but embodies it. The ones that burn us the deepest often free us the most. You're not broken because it ended. You're braver because it did. You stared love in the face, raw, real, wild, and you let it change you. That's not weakness, that's spiritual strength. So stop saying you lost love. You graduated from illusions. You leveled up from needing love to being love. Because the universe doesn't remove what belongs in your destiny. It removes what was only meant for your awakening. So honor the burn. Let the ashes fall. Because who you are now, reborn in truth, is the version your soul has been waiting for. Chapter 6. They woke you up. Now what? You can't stop thinking about them, can you? Even now, long after they've gone. Their memory lingers, faint, haunting, permanent. You've asked yourself 100 times, why can't I just let them go? Why does their absence feel louder than their presence ever did? Here's the truth most people won't say. You can't forget them because they didn't just enter your life. They entered your becoming. They didn't just break your heart, they awakened your soul. They cracked open a portal to a version of you that was waiting, buried beneath years of self-betrayal, people-pleasing, and pretending to be fine. They touched the unfinished symphony inside you, the part of you that had been screaming to rise but was drowned out by fear and survival. They pulled you toward a future you were too afraid to walk into alone, a future that required courage, honesty, and the ability to stand on your own. Yes, they woke you up. But now what? Now the real journey begins. Because they were never meant to walk beside you. They were the earthquake that split your path open, so you could finally see your own road. So instead of chasing closure from them, instead of asking, why did they leave? Ask this, what did they awaken in me? Maybe they awakened the version of you that refuses to settle. Maybe they reminded you of your soul's hunger for passion, for purpose, for truth. Maybe they showed you your capacity to love, to feel, to break, and still rise. When someone wakes you up, your soul doesn't let you go back to sleep. You've seen too much, you've felt too much, you can't unknow your depth anymore. So what now? Now you become the version of yourself you saw reflected in their eyes. Now you walk the path your soul has been waiting for. You stop seeking closure. You become the closure. You bury the old version of yourself with love, with gratitude, with grace, because their greatest gift to you wasn't their love, it was their exit. Their leaving was your becoming. Their silence was your turning point. They woke you up. Now you lead yourself home. No one else can do that for you, not even the one who broke you open. Chapter 7. From survival to soul activation. You spent so long surviving, waking up each day wearing strength like armor, smiling while exhausted, holding yourself together while quietly falling apart. You had mastered the art of functioning, but forgot the art of feeling. Then they came. And they weren't just another person. They were a frequency your soul hadn't touched in lifetimes. Their presence didn't just stir you, it shook you. They saw you, not the curated version, not the persona, but the raw, unfiltered essence of you. They noticed the flicker in your eyes when you talked about your dreams, the tremble in your voice when you mentioned your past, the silent exhaustion behind your smile. And in that moment, your survival mode started to crack. Carl Jung once said, "Loneliness does not come from being alone, but from being unable to communicate the things that matter most." That's the loneliness you've carried. Not the absence of people, but the absence of being understood. They didn't heal you. They disrupted you. They poked the ache under your routines. They shattered your illusion of "I'm fine." They whispered, "Feel this." Feel the grief, the rage, the longing you buried beneath responsibility. Feel the truth of the life you want. Because survival is silent. It endures. It maintains. But soul activation, that's wild. It's emotional. It's honest. It's rebellious. They woke the question inside you. What would life look like if I actually lived it for me? You didn't meet them by mistake. Your soul called for an earthquake, and they answered. Because when the soul is ready to rise, the universe doesn't send comfort, it sends chaos. And they were your chaos, not to destroy you, but to remind you. You were born for more than just surviving. So when they cracked your numbness and said, "Here, feel this," it wasn't cruelty, it was activation. Now that you've been awakened, you can never go back. You've crossed the threshold, you've seen your truth. And the question isn't, why did they shake me? It's, who am I becoming because they did? Chapter 8, The Initiation, Why It Had to Hurt. This wasn't just heartbreak. This wasn't just someone leaving. This wasn't a sad interlude in an otherwise tidy story. This was initiation, a spiritual threshold, a cosmic doorway, the sacred tearing apart of everything you thought you were, so your true self could finally breathe. Real transformation doesn't ask permission. It doesn't knock. It rips through your life at precisely the moment your soul is ready, even if your mind isn't. It shows up as a soul-level rupture, the kind of pain that doesn't just ache in your chest but shakes the foundation of your identity. Because to awaken beyond ego and illusion, something inside you has to die. The old narratives, the survival masks, the quiet agreements you made with fear. Carl Jung called this path individuation, the brave separation from the false self, from conditioning, from the protective roles you learned to play just to belong. It isn't gentle, it's soul surgery, and pain is the scalpel. This hurt didn't come to destroy you, it came to initiate you. It had to be this intense because nothing shallow can reach that deep. No surface-level comfort could have unearthed that buried grief. Those abandoned dreams, the anger you neatly hid beneath composure, the voice you silenced to be acceptable. You needed a quake strong enough to wake your sleeping life, and this was it. Your ego called it betrayal. Your soul called it ascension. The fire didn't burn your life down, it burned your limits down. It scorched the lies you'd rehearsed for years. I'm not enough. I have to earn love. I must stay small to stay safe. When everything felt like it was falling apart, what was really crumbling were the parts of you that were never truly you. That's initiation. Messy, confusing, sacred. It looks like loss, but it's actually shedding. They were the catalyst. Not because they were perfect, because they were the perfect mirror for the exact lesson your soul was ready to learn. As the waves of pain came, you were being carved open, not punished, but prepared, cleansed of what can't come with you into the next chapter. So if it hurts, let it. Let it burn what isn't yours. Let it unravel stale stories. Let it empty the rooms in you where you've been storing dust. You're not breaking. You're becoming. This is your passage into the rawness of your real self, the strength that can't be faked, the clarity that only fire brings. On the other side of this, you won't settle for half-lived days, half-spoken truths, or half-versions of love. You've crossed a threshold. There is no going back. Honor the pain. Respect it. Thank it. When people ask why it hurts so much, you'll answer. Not with bitterness, but with power. Because I was being reborn. Chapter 9. Integration. Carrying the flame, not the fantasy. The tragedy wasn't losing them. The tragedy was almost losing yourself in the echo that followed. When a connection cuts to the bone, it doesn't vanish just because the person does. The resonance lingers. The flame flickers in your chest long after their footsteps fade. This is where so many souls get stuck. They keep carrying the fantasy instead of the flame. They replay the highlight reel. They bargain with memory. They wait for a rewrite that was never meant to be written. That isn't healing. That's attachment to a dream. Real integration is different. Real integration is when you stop waiting for their return and start walking into your own. When you stop wearing the story like a wound and start carrying it like a torch. The goal isn't to erase them. It's to refine what the meeting revealed. Because the holiest thing they gave you wasn't their love. It was what their love revealed. They showed you where you were still aching. They exposed what you had forgotten. They awakened the rooms of your soul you boarded up to survive. Honor that, not by shrinking back into longing, not by scripting fantasies of closure or reunion. Honor it by choosing the life the experience unlocked in you. They were never the destination. They were the bridge, the match, not the fire. Carrying the flame means you keep the truth, not the turbulence. You keep the lesson, not the loop. You keep your essence, not their absence. The new you walks differently, slower where it matters, swifter where it's wise. You choose clarity over chaos, devotion over distraction, purpose over pain. You don't need them to stay in order to keep what the experience gave you. You become the keeper of your truth. You become the home you were once searching for in someone else. And you don't do it to prove anything. To them, to the past, to the world. You do it because your soul is done pretending. You're done performing fine. You're ready to live consciously. So when their name drifts across your mind, let a soft smile come. Not because you want them back, but because now, finally, you have you. That's integration. Carrying the flame forward, not the fantasy back. Chapter 10. The universe sends who you need. Stop replaying it like it was all a mistake. It wasn't random. It wasn't meaningless. It wasn't bad luck. It was architecture. The universe doesn't waste pain, and it doesn't send people without purpose. When someone enters your life and breaks you open, that is not accident. That is message. You weren't cursed. You were chosen to evolve. Maybe they didn't stay. Maybe the ending still stings. Maybe you still have nights where what if hums like a low thunder in your ribs. But here's the shift your soul is ready to make. They weren't sent to stay. They were sent to disarm you, to pierce your defenses, to soften the shell around your heart, to interrupt your autopilot and break the dam of suppressed feeling, so you could finally feel, even if it meant falling apart, because sometimes you have to come undone to come home. Carl Jung said, "Your vision will become clear only when you look into your heart. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens." That's what this was, an awakening. They didn't arrive to fulfill a fantasy, they arrived to dismantle it, because the love you were chasing in someone else's eyes was a mirror for the love you had yet to give yourself. You didn't lose love, you found you. The you who can sit with silence and still feel whole. The you who doesn't beg to be understood because you finally understand yourself. The you who stops building a life around being chosen and starts choosing yourself. Every single time. So stop asking, why did it happen this way? The universe rarely explains its precision. It sends arrows, people who fly straight into your soul, not to wound you, but to point you home. They weren't your person. They were your permission. Permission to drop the illusion. Permission to release what no longer serves. Permission to become the most honest version of yourself. They were the soul contract that read, "You must awaken now." So if you're still holding on to why did it end, shift to what began because of it. That's the real story, the return of your voice, the cracking open of your truth, the unmistakable feeling of coming back to your center. One day you'll realize the universe never took anything from you. It gave you back to yourself. Bless the pain, honor the fire, wear the lesson not like a scar but like an initiation mark, because now you know the universe sends exactly who you need, especially when it hurts. And through that hurt you rise, not as who you were but as who you were always meant to become. If this message touched something wordless inside you, if it echoed the ache you've carried in Sunts, if it named the moment you never got to close, hear this. You were never broken. You were being rebuilt. This wasn't merely heartbreak, it was your rebirth. It wasn't about losing them, it was about finding you. You were never meant to keep them. They were never your final chapter. They were the match that sparked the fire of your becoming. They came to remind you of what you forgot. You are worthy, you are whole. Your love doesn't need to be earned, only remembered. So if you're ready to stop waiting for the past, to stop replaying the fantasy, to stop looking for closure outside that was always meant to come from within, make a quiet promise to yourself. I choose healing over holding on. Share this with someone carrying the weight of an ending. Tell them they aren't crazy for feeling this deeply. They're human. They're healing. They're not alone. And in the comments, write the simplest, bravest line. What did they awaken in you? Sometimes putting it into words is the first step in setting it free. This space isn't just for viewers, it's for souls in transition. For those brave enough to turn pain into purpose. Speak, type, let it out. There is power in your truth, and your words might be the mirror someone else needs to begin their own healing too. This isn't goodbye. This is your return. Back to yourself. Now go, carry the flame.